I got a physical personal print copy of my book from B&N Press, and it arrived in the mail today. It's finally here. Yeah, it's here. So I ordered a physical self-use copy of my first draft. If you're curious on how I did this, I followed Brielle's instructions. Brielle Writes is her channel. She has a really good walkthrough of how to do this. I ordered this off of B&N Press, and it was really affordable. It came really fast. It came faster than I thought it would. And now it's time to unbox it. Let's read this. Oh my gosh. This is like the coolest thing ever. Oh my goodness. There's some formatting problems, but I can't. Like, I can't believe this. It feels really nice too. You can now hear her tearing up her box in the background, but it is so worth it to do this. Like, this was only like $4. This was only $4 plus shipping, so it was like $11 to do this whole thing, and now I have a physical copy to read and mark up and write notes in to plan my revisions. And this is the coolest thing ever. Like, this was so worth it. To be able to hold this book that I wrote in my hand, there's like no feeling like this. It's so worth it. Please, please, please do yourself a favor. Give yourself this little gift. It's almost like manifesting your writing journey, your writing career, your author career if you do this. Like, this feels so real. I mean, it is real, but like, this is so cool. Like, I can't get over how cool this is. Like, I can't even imagine what this would feel like if this were like an actually published book, like traditionally published book. Like the high I am getting right now from holding this book, and it's not even the real thing. This is crazy. Okay, so I'm gonna show you guys the cover. I designed it myself on Canva. I did take an illustration that is not mine, just because this is for personal use. It just really fits the story at this moment in time, and it's a really beautiful illustration. I also gave this a filler title, so I don't have an actual title for this book yet, but since I was going to get it printed, I wanted to like try something on, almost like you would try on a pair of shoes or a sweater or a title. I don't know if this is the title that's gonna stay, so I am gonna cover it. That's more for me than for you guys, in case this title does stay. I'm just scared to give it a title because it's so early on. We still have to do a bunch of revision, so there might be something that I add later on, little foreshadowing detail, or something that like clicks better into place that would just like really give someone chills as they're reading. That would make a better title, and I'm not sure what that is yet, so I am going to cover that. This is like the moon, and the back matches if you want to see the full thing without my hand on it. It's so cool. It's so cool just to hold it. So this is very thin. It's 190 pages. It is not formatted properly. There's a lot of formatting mistakes in this, and there's a lot I still need to add. But this is so cool. I can't stop smiling. Oh my god. So yeah, I finished my book. I have a first draft. It's in my hand. This is so cool. Like, no one else is gonna read this but me. This is totally for myself, and this is like the best gift I could have gotten myself. This is so cool, and I'm excited to see how it grows because it is very thin. I have said it very often that I think this will probably be a novella. This kind of confirms that suspicion, but again, we'll see what happens after revision. I can't believe it. This is so cool. This is like one of the coolest things ever. Please, please, please do yourself a favor and do this. This is a really cool way to celebrate finishing my first draft ever. This is over the moon. So again, how did I do this? I'll give you a quick breakdown. Again, go watch Brielle's video if you would like a more in-depth step-by-step tutorial on how to do this. It's very easy. If you just like trust yourself and read directions, you can figure it out. You don't necessarily need a tutorial. All you really need to do is go to B&N Press, make yourself an account. If you already have a Barnes & Noble membership, or you're part of like the premium perks card or any of that, you already have an account. You just log into that, and then you need to have like a PDF of your manuscript of your first draft. For those who are interested in the self-publishing route, you might have a fancy dancy book formatting software. I would like to traditionally publish. That is my goal right now, so I did not want to invest in that. I also didn't really want to take the time to format everything properly at this point, because I'm literally the only one that's going to see it, and it's all going to change, and I didn't feel like I needed to practice that step yet. So all I did was export my draft from Scrivener, and there's a few settings that you can choose and finish with there, but I would just recommend playing around with it. Just export the draft, pull it up on your computer, finish with it a little bit more here and there. But again, it doesn't need to be perfect because this is just for you. So that was easy peasy, very cheap. I mean, if you don't have Scrivener, you can do the same exact thing with Google Drive or Microsoft Word. And then I made my cover on Canva. If you just search book cover template, there's lots of great stuff that comes up. I have the premium version of Canva because I use it for literally constantly making graphics for the coffee shop and marketing that, and also for YouTube thumbnails. So I think I did use a few premium features or premium templates, but I ended up using an illustration that I really liked for my Pinterest board. Obviously you wouldn't be able to do that if you were self-publishing because of copyright and everything, but because I was just doing this for myself and I'm the only one that's ever going to have this, I just used whatever piece of artwork really resonated with me and made me feel very excited about this, since this is my private little gift to myself. And it's a very beautiful cover. You will have the option to put stuff on the spine. I did that. You can see my author name, my chosen author name, what I will be going by if I do ever get traditionally published. And then I did put my makeshift title on there. I really didn't want to just put the Project Old Lovers whip title on there, just because it just feels less real doing that. But yeah, pretty easy. I couldn't believe it. Because I had such a low word count, it was only like $4.19. The higher your word count is, the more it's going to be, but it's still very, very cheap. Like you'll pick like an average amount of pages, and I think like the highest you can choose, it runs to like 6 $6, something like that. I was expecting and willing to pay at least $20 to $30 for this. It was more like 10, less than 15. Crazy. And so exciting, and it feels really nice. I do recommend taking Brielle's advice and choosing the matte version, just because it's like buttery soft. It's so smooth. It feels almost like a fancy poetry collection or like a luxe version of your book. It's just, if you're going to be holding it and touching it to read and revise it and take notes, it is worth it. It is worth it, and it doesn't really cost anything extra to do the matte. You do need to make sure that your sizing is correct, but that's also very easy. I think I maybe had to reformat the cover page like once or twice to make sure it fit correctly, but like it'll give you a preview and you can see where the lines line up. At this point, it's only been like 2 weeks since I finished my draft, so it is far too soon for me to jump in and start revisions and reading it. I am still coming up with my revision plan since this is the first time I have ever finished a novel writing project, and this is the first time that I will be revising a novel project, so I'm a little overwhelmed at this time. And I've why are you sniffing? And I've heard mixed advice that you should wait a minimum of 2 weeks, that it should be a month, that it should be 3 to 4 months, that it should be 6 months. So I don't know, maybe I can go a month. A month might be good, just because of everything I'm trying to do for the coffee shop. Our first ever Christmas market is happening next Saturday, and I still have a ton of things to do with the physical space. I need to make some more decorations. Oh goodness, I'm being attacked by a fly. I need to make some more decorations. I need to move stuff. I need to finalize some things. So I'm kind of okay with shelving the project and just thinking about how am I going to tackle these revisions, because there are already things floating in my head. I'm taking down notes. I'm still thinking about it. All the things that I think need to be fixed, or things that I want to add, things that I'm paranoid aren't working already. I am taking those down randomly as they come up in my phone, just on notes. I'll compile all those things. I'm watching a lot of videos. I'm reading a lot of writing advice on how to revise. I'm finding worksheets. So I'm just trying to find the right toolkit. I guess I'm just building my toolkit right now. Obviously, before I jump into any writing revising, I will need to read this, but I'm not ready to even do that yet. I want to put as much space, I want to get as much objectivity as I can from this. The coffee shop is going to be closed for the first 2 weeks of January, so I feel like that might be a good time to jump back into this project. And there are some other like creative, writerly things that I would like to do in this time while I am waiting. For example, I just want to read some books like for fun, for pleasure, and I have been reading some again. I just kind of had such limited time for a little bit that I cut reading out of my schedule, and I miss it. I want to go back and finish reading Story Genius. I never finished that, and the book itself says to read it and zero draft your book, so I just want to go back in and finish reading it before I finish my entire novel project. I have another story idea that I would kind of like to rough outline and then just put away until I am done with this project. I do have a bunch of other story ideas in mind, and maybe I'll make a video on that, but I would just kind of like to outline something. and get more practice with doing that. And now seems like a good time to do that. I have mentioned that I want to do some kind of poetry or short story submission with some of my old work, so maybe I could do that. Something I've been interested in doing for a really long time is the NYC Midnight Writing Challenge, and I had my old roommate actually has done this a couple times. She and her mom have participated and like critiqued each other's stories. They're adorable, they're super cute. But I used to see this ad on Facebook all the time in college, and I was like, I want to do that sometime. And then I was like, well, maybe it's a scam. I've never met anyone that's done it. But then I would go online and read like the stories that would win, and I'm like, okay, so this seems legit. And then I got it in my head that those writers were like way better than I was, and I couldn't even try. And then my old roommate from when I was living in Chicago, she actually like submitted to it like multiple times, and she would like challenge herself and do all different types of writing with it, because they have screenwriting, they have a short story, they have like a flash fiction, so it's all different lengths, and it is good for your writing muscle. And I'm like, do I have time to do that? Should I try and do that? I've always wanted to do one, so maybe this time around. I feel like I just need to choose from a jar on like these writing goals that I have. But I'm also like, don't get too big for your britches. Like, maybe just focus on figuring out your revision plan, since that is such like a big, massive undertaking that's overwhelming. So I think I am going to make a separate video on my big revision plan, everything I'm doing. I almost want to be like super over the top detailed with it, since it's the first time I'm doing it, to the point where it feels like I'm being an intense plotter, just so I have, I don't know, it's just so it feels like I have some solid footing for when I'm revising. So far those are some things that I want to do before I start revising. And I do know, very basic, that for my revision plan I will be reading through this and taking notes. But this is exciting, this is cool. I'm really glad I did this, and I'll see you in another video soon. We're gonna deep dive a little bit more into story inspiration for this particular whip. We're gonna talk all about what I'm gonna do for revision in more detail, but I just wanted to share this with you guys. Such a huge milestone, and like, I'm so glad I did it, because finishing the draft didn't feel real. Like, after working on something for so long, doing the same thing, just writing, it just was very anticlimactic, and this was worth it. This was really cool, and I'm glad I could share this with you guys.